You're here right now at this moment because tomorrow you want to be somebody greater than the person you are today. You see yourself succeeding, you have a vision, you have a dream. Congratulations. You're already 10 steps ahead of 95% of the world. Imagine if Michael Jordan was scared of missing. He would have never taken a shot. Imagine if Steve Jobs was afraid of people not liking his product. There would be no iPhone. So ask yourself this: do you want to be a person who fears failure, or do you want to be a person who loves success? Which one? Because you're going to have to pick today. And I'll tell you one thing: one is a failure and one is a success. And if you love success, there is nothing that can stop you. All those negative things people say will mean nothing. They're going to talk about how only 1% make it to the top. Big deal. Want to know something else? Only 1% stick with that fitness program long enough to see results. Only 1% of nerds stick with that video game long enough to get good at it. Only 1% of relationships stick it out to the end. That doesn't mean you have a 1% chance. It just means you can't behave like the 99%. You'll have to do something better than giving up a month from now. Those are just numbers. You want to talk about numbers? Take a look around you and take a good look around you. Are you like 99% of the people around you? If you are, then you're in the wrong video, my friend. You have to love success just as much because that's what's going to allow you to get up and go for it. Being scared to fail won't do anything. In fact, when you love success and you start going for it, guess what happens? You're going to fail. You're going to fail 10 times, 100 times, maybe even 1,000 times. But that's okay. Failure isn't permanent. Falling isn't permanent. You get right back up and keep going. And this time, you're going to be stronger, wiser, and you'll be more driven than ever. And for every 10 failures, you'll land one success. You have to love success so much that you're willing to fail 10 times before you can succeed once. That's how a winner does it. First half, I'm not gonna lie. They had us. We weren't defeated, but they had us. But it took guts, it took an attitude. That's all it takes. That's all it takes to be successful is an attitude. And that's what our coach told us. He said, hey, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be hard. You're gonna go out there, you're gonna battle, you're gonna fight. You're gonna do it for one, you're gonna do it for one another. Do it for each other, you're gonna do it for yourself, you're gonna do it for us, and you're gonna go out with this win. And we believe that, we truly did. And it's an awesome feeling. It's an awesome feeling when you truly believe that you're going to be successful. Regardless of the situation, regardless of the scoreboard, you're going to be successful because you put in all the time, all the effort.
This is that shot can't land it, so it is going to be that retake scenario. Crims has the kid.
Close towards CT, zooming spots 3 of them out, but it's Olaf again to find device, and Olaf coming in with 4. He wants the ace, and he gets it. There we go. What a superstar performance from that man.
I was walking down the street and I saw an old man. Had a hat, suspenders, and a cane. Was about 80 years old. This old man was barely walking. He could walk, but the cane helped a lot. He was struggling. So anyway, he was walking across the street and he ended up falling. So I went over to go help him. And he gets up, says thank you, and we introduced ourselves. Had a little conversation. Told me his name and I told him mine. His name was Robert, by the way. And right as he walked away, I told him, this is what I said. Robert, you should stay inside where it's safe, my friend. And Robert turns around and says to me, I love walking, and I love walking way more than I'm afraid of falling. So I asked him, well, What about your safety? Don't you want to live? And he told me this. These are the exact words he said. He said this: Solo, living means doing what you love to do. And if I have to fall here and there to do what I want to do in life, then so be it. And he just walked away. Never saw him again. That was it. But that statement really had me thinking, and it had me thinking hard, because I learned something that day. That's when I realized the true key to success. You see, I always thought if I could just fear the act of failing, and if I fear it like crazy, I will succeed. Because I thought the fear would magically motivate me to get out there and start taking action. But after that day, I realized something. I realized it's the love for success that will lead me to succeeding. So just imagine if Robert feared falling. Would he even start walking? Of course not. He wouldn't even do what he loved to do. He would sit at home and take no type of action. But he loved walking. Wasn't even scared to fall. It gave him life. That's what allowed him to get up and do it. He loved walking so much, he was willing to fall 10 times a day just to do it. And you have to be the same. So the next time someone tells you, you're gonna fail, you know what you tell them? Tell them they're right. But you're not afraid to fail. You're not afraid to take action. You're not afraid to jump. You're gonna fail 10 times, but you know what? It's cool. Because on the 11th time, you'll succeed. Oh, you'll succeed, all right. And it'll feel good. And while you're over here living the life of your dreams and complete happiness, guess where they're gonna be? That's right. There'll be failures, the real failures, over there where it's safe, scared to fail. Ironic, isn't it?
I hate Plan B. And I tell you why. Because we have so many doubters, as I've said earlier, the no-sayers. We have so many of those people that say no and you can't do it, it's impossible. That is okay because we just turn off, as I said earlier, and we listen and we hear the no being a yes. You can't do it, you can't do it, and all of that. So that is possible to do that amongst all the negative people around you. But when you start doubting yourself, that's very dangerous. Because now what you're basically saying is that if my plan doesn't work, I have a fallback plan, I have a plan B. And that means that you start thinking about plan B, and every thought that you put into plan B, you're taking away now that thought and that energy from plan A. And it's very important to understand that we function better if there is no safety net, because plan B becomes a safety net. It says that if I fail, then I fall and I get picked up and I have something else there that will protect me. And that's not good, because people perform better when there's no safety net. People perform better in sports and everything else if you don't have a plan B. To me, it is very dangerous to have a plan B because you're cutting yourself off from the chance of really succeeding. And the reason, one of the main reasons why people want to have a plan B is because they are worried about failing. What is if I fail, then I don't have anything else? Well, let me tell you something, don't be afraid of failing, because there's nothing wrong with failing. You have to fail in order to climb that ladder. There's no one that doesn't fail. We all fail. It's okay. What is not okay is that when you fail, you stay down. Whoever stays down is a loser. And winners will fail and get up, fail and get up, fail and get up. You always get up. That is a winner. That is a winner. Hey, we all lose. We all have losses. This is okay. And this is why I say don't be worried about losing, because when you're afraid of losing, then you get frozen. You get stiff. You're not relaxed. You got to be, in order to perform well in anything, if it's in boxing or if it is on your job or with your thinking, is only happening when you relax. So relax. It's okay to fail. Let's just go all out and give it everything that you got. That's what it is all about. So don't be afraid to fail. This is one of my 6 rules to success. You can only feel complete as a person if you think about what can you do for your fellow member around you that maybe needs help. I felt like that. Everyone has a different motivation why you get into that. I was an immigrant going to America, and I saw how America was the most generous country in the world. I mean, they opened up their arms to me, they helped me, they invited me for Thanksgiving dinner. The people, they brought me, the bodybuilders in the gym brought me plates to my apartment because I had no plates, I had no silverware, I had no bedware, I had no pillows, I had no blanket, I had no TV, I had no radio, I had nothing. They brought it to my apartment. They helped me. And I saw that firsthand, this generosity in America. And I said to myself, as an immigrant that is being embraced with open arms, that I need to go and make sure that I give something back.
Your life is a testament to the idea that nothing is impossible. That if somebody says no, you say it's just the beginning.
Success is not a straight line. It's crooked, it's down in the valley, it's back up over a mountain. I bet you that you have failed more times than anyone in this room.
Absolutely.
You know, don't wait for the stars to align. Reach up and rearrange them the way you want. Create your own constellation.
I am a human being. There's no difference between my humanness and your humanness. The only thing is, if you're trying to get there, you cannot stop believing in any way. No matter what anybody says, no matter what anybody tells you, you have to know it beyond knowing it.
Are you the best footballer in the world right now? I think so, yes. In my mind, I'm always the best. I don't care what people are thinking, what they say. In my mind, not just this year, but always, I'm always the best. I'm always going to say that.
Don't allow anyone, friend, family, acquaintance, teachers, whoever it is, don't allow anyone to tell you that what you are dreaming for yourself and your family is not possible. It is possible.
Please feel me, please hear this from my heart. Anything you want is possible. All you can do is plant your seed in the ground, water it, and believe. That is what allowed me to be in this position right now. I would not stop believing.
I would say believe in your direction and do it. Spend less time talking about it and more time trying to perfect it and put it out there.
Position yourself to succeed. So for example, if you're doing something else and you want to do this thing you love, you do it after hours. You work 9 to 6, you get home, you kiss the dog, and you go to town. Right? I mean, you start building your equity and your brand and whatever you're trying to accomplish.
If you don't do it, nothing's possible. If you try to do it, at least you have the hope.
Most people don't even try, sadly. Most people try and then stop or give up. Very few people try and try and try, or do and do and do and do, and never give up. And those are the people that ultimately succeed and win.
Third failure in a row. Did you think, I need to pack this in? Never. Why not? I don't ever give up.
If you want this, if you want bling bling, if you want to buy the jets, work. That's how you get it.
I always believe that the bridge between reality and a dream is work.
No idea works unless you have the courage to do the work. Ideation without execution is delusion.
Because you can have the most brilliant idea in the world, but you gotta bet on yourself. You can't think that that one idea and the way that you think it's supposed to happen is the only way that it can happen.
I challenge all of us to say, stop finding reasons to find and make excuses that, we affectionately under Armour call loser talk. And I don't know, you've got to just will it and focus on making it happen.
Focus on one thing, one area. Put all of your energy into watering one area. If you spread the water across many, many seeds, you don't have as much water for one seed. So focus on one thing.
What I learned from Steve Jobs is, if you believe enough, then you will see it. Because other people will believe in it. Other people will create products. So you need to foster the belief in what you are dreaming so that it becomes a reality.
I just want to win. That's what they'll always say. They see these people, these incredible players who sacrificed everything and worked constantly to improve and be at the peak of their level and gave up almost everything and battled, and really all that was in these guys' minds was trying to win and trying to be the best. They hear the way they talk. They have this logic of, well, if he talks that way and he was a winner, then I'm trying to play and I'm trying to be good, so I'll talk that way and I'll adopt that mindset. And while the mindset is good, they don't bring with it all the other aspects of it. What they don't realize is that mindset, that philosophy, is the end stage. It's the verbal expression of an actual philosophy of their life, which took place in action, in small decisions that took place every day of their lives, to have a hard practice, to practice with purpose. All the things that went into it, these people haven't studied. They've just heard what's said, and then they're parroting the same things and thinking if they just try, that trying is enough. It's not enough. The actions that these people take do not match up. Like, for example, they might say that they practice hard. Okay, they might practice hard, like the practice might be there, and they might play hard within the practice, but do they do the hard practice? That's a different thing. Those are the things that are difficult to do. Maybe they're very draining in the amount of time you have to put in, or the amount of mental effort and concentration on this practice, whereas you could just let that go a bit and relax a bit more and be half in, half out in the practice, and you're there at the practice, you're playing in the practice, maybe you're even succeeding in the practice in a relative sense, you're winning the games or you're doing decently in them, but are you actually applying yourself with purpose? Are you doing the boring practice? Are you doing the practice where all you do is work on the basics that even the beginner learns, and you're just making sure these are refined, these are perfected, and then pushing for that extra 1% that might not seem like much in the context of it, but could be the difference that makes you the great player, that makes you win this next match? Are you doing these things? Most of these players are not. Do it right so that you don't have to spend more time doing it over later. It's the idea that to fix something later might be harder than putting in the initial hard effort to do it the correct way now and refine it now. It's about practicing with purpose. It's not about just playing to win the practice or to win a single game. It's about practicing so that you improve and that you get the best aspects of your game to a high level, you minimize mistakes, and then a natural byproduct of that will be success and winning. You don't need to focus on winning the actual game. You need to focus on playing your best and making the best decisions and minimizing your mistakes. Then you will win games, you will win series, you will win tournaments, you will improve as a player, and as long as you're improving as a player, you will ascend through the ranks. It's irrelevant whether you win this game, because you can win this game and you can win the next game, but will you win the third game when you play the better player who you needed to have all these aspects in full refinement to be able to beat him? No, you won't, because you haven't worked on that. That hasn't been a goal of yours. Your goal was just to win. Do you DM every day with all the different weapons? Do you practice your proper technique in DM? Do you not just go for headshots in DM, but in a real game you just spray into the body? When you're in a practice game, do you practice the actual strategy? Do you do it in an offhanded manner and go, don't worry, in the real game it'll be okay? Well, the way that you practice is the way you're going to play in the game. It's the way you're going to be most comfortable. It's where your habits will be formed. So if you practice sloppily and like a fuckhead, then you're going to play sloppily and like a fuckhead in the game. And then when it happens, you go, that's not who I am. Like, I'm a better player than that. I know my skills better. No one gives a shit, mate.
do it in the game, or no one gives a flying fuck what you can do in practice. There was an all-time great player called Potty. He was one of the most well-rounded players in history. He practiced incredible amounts, even in empty servers. He was someone who'd studied the game a lot. He played incredible amounts of hours. He played tons and tons and tons of lands, and he was so clutch and so amazing on LAN. And so when he went to these CPL events, North American and European ones, the best tournaments at the time, he had something like 9 where he made like the finals, or won like 5 or 6 or whatever it was. And the thing about this guy was, he was so used to being excellent and always figuring out how to get back to that excellent level, that there was a tournament once where he went with a newer lineup, tried out a couple of younger players who hadn't had a lot of experience at that level, and it was CPL Winter 2002. And he was used to winning events. He was used to coming top 2 at worst. And at this tournament, he came 3rd. And his team did well to come 3rd, and they had matches where they were outmatched and outclassed by some of the better teams, and things broke their own way at the key point, like 11-11 or Inferno, whatever it was, versus the Game Online team of Element. And okay, he could have said, like another player, well, good tournament, new roster, yeah, we still got 3rd, 3rd's good, right? I remember looking at this guy's face when he was on the podium and he received the 3rd place check. And he looked on his face like someone in his family had died. Because he realized, this is nothing. I have the potential to be a champion. I have been a champion before. I will probably be a champion in the future. What have I done wrong to be in a position where I'm 3rd now? What could I have done differently? Now, to other people that say, hey, relax, enjoy 3rd place. Those are the people who aren't doing everything to win. They are willing to accept failure. The greatest champions of all time seriously say, the day you win, you're jubilant, you have this joy, it feels incredible, you feel all this energy coming forwards, you love your teammates, you love the things you've accomplished, but the next day, it dawns upon you, if you're a true winner, someone who sacrificed everything to be a champion, you realize the next season is going to begin in a few months. And this last season now was amazing, but that's gone. And so I have to now win the next season. And it's that obsessive drive that makes these guys the greatest champions of all time.
You're still here, and you get another chance this day to do better and be better. Another chance to become more of who you were created and what you were created to fulfill.
Everyone in the world is capable of living outside the role or beyond the roles that they place themselves in, no matter what it is. You're not just a dad, you're not just a banker, you're not just a brother or a son or a convict. It doesn't matter. Like, everyone is bigger, much bigger, infinitely bigger than the roles they place themselves in, and is capable of reaching potential greater than anything they could imagine.
You can live the life you desire. It's right there in front of you. But in order to achieve it, you must first see it, then believe it, and then you must graciously ask and train your brain to help you execute your vision.
So when you start to focus and you delete distraction from your life, and you start to get seriously invested in doing one thing staggeringly well, and you practice that one thing over and over, a term to think about is mundanity. You do one simple, seemingly insignificant thing every day around your main skill, and it's very mundane, but small daily improvements over time lead to world-class results. Well, here's what happens in your brain. You start to isolate a single neurocircuit around that skill, and that starts to trigger a certain type of brain cell called an oligodendrocyte, which then releases myelin. Myelin is a fatty tissue that starts to wrap around that single neurocircuit related to that main skill you've been practicing. And when myelin starts to wrap around the brain circuit, what happens is you have accelerated learning times, you can see more quickly, heightened perception, and you'll learn more quickly. And that is really the quote-unquote secret of the great producers. It's not a result of some natural gift
but their daily practice, their relentlessness and their grit, their work ethic, and their singular focus and sacrifice.
A great life is built not by revolution. A great life is built by evolution. Small and steady wins the race. What you do every day is far more important than what you do once every decade. I want you to really think about that idea. What you do every day is simply your life in miniature. And as you live every single day, so you're crafting your life. What you do over the next hours is really building your future. And if you can just get every single pocket of 24 hours right as best as we humanly can, the rest of our life is going to take care of itself. So small wins matter.
The scripture says we will eat the fruit of our words. You are planting seeds when you talk. At some point, you're going to eat that fruit. My challenge is make sure you're planting the right kind of seeds. If you want apples, you have to sow apple seeds. If you want oranges, you can't plant cactus seeds, poison ivy seeds, mushroom seeds. You're going to reap fruit from the exact seeds that you've been sowing. In other words, you can't talk negative and expect to live a positive life. You can't talk defeat and expect to have victory. You can't talk lack, not enough, can't afford it, never get ahead, and expect to have abundance. If you have a poor mouth, you're going to have a poor life. If you don't like what you're seeing, start sowing some different seeds. We may not realize it, but we're always feeding ourselves. What we watch, listen to, the people we're around, the thoughts we're dwelling on, that's feeding our inner man. If you go to lunch with people that talk bad about the boss, make fun of a coworker, put down a friend, they're feeding you gossip, feeding you jealousy, feeding you disrespect. Here's the key. Whatever you feed is going to grow. You may not like what they're feeding you. You're a nice person. But if you continue to hang around them, before long, you'll be gossiping. You'll be critical. You'll be disrespectful. Why? Because you kept feeding the wrong things. If you're always feeding negative thoughts, thinking, I'll never get well, I'll never meet the right person, you're feeding doubt, feeding mediocrity, feeding fear.
If you know exactly what you want to be, you need to spend as much time with people that are actually that already. You cannot let a fear of failure, or a fear of comparison, or a fear of judgment stop you from doing what's going to make you great. You cannot succeed without this risk of failure. You cannot have a voice without the risk of criticism. And you cannot love without the risk of loss. You must go out and you must take these risks.
You don't have the time to waste time, because time doesn't wait till you discover your purpose. If you don't know why you was born, time is still moving. And if you discover your purpose at 90 years old, it's too late.
You don't know how young you are. What if you die in 2 years? You're pretty old right now. You got 2 years left. And if you're 50 years old and you're feeling discouraged, well, remember the advice about planting a tree. When's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago or today? So if you're 50 and you feel like life left you behind, well, just start right now. Better late than never. Better late than never. Don't think about time and age so much. It gets people distracted. When the whole world's distracted, you be focused.
You have to trust your own voice, your own ideas, your honesty, your vulnerability, and through this you will find your way. You do not have to be fearless. Just don't let fear stop you.
Live like this as best you can, and I guarantee you will look back on a life well lived. You are capable of greatness in your profession, and more importantly, in your quality of self. Stay hungry. Stay young at heart. Take those risks. You are going to change the world around you in big ways and in small.
But see, anybody, if you want to, can go searching for a good plan, pick it, and start working it. And sure enough, as the time passes, as it surely will 5 years from now, 10 years from now, then you'll be winding up wearing what you want to wear, driving what you want to drive, living where you want to live, become what you want to become. But now is the time to fix the next inning. And who can? Anybody.
You were created to give life and make a difference with your gift somewhere. That's why you came to this place.
You want to improve? You want to get better? You want to get on a workout program or a clean diet? You want to start a business? You want to write a book or make a movie or build a house or a computer or put together some mobile application? Where do you start? You start right here. And when do you start? You start right now. You initiate the action aggressively. You go.
The volcano of your life has been lying dormant for far too long. It's go time. It's time to eliminate distraction and activate action. The time is now. So I need you to rise up. Stop contemplating. Stop overthinking. Get started. It's go time, baby. In other words, it's show time. Time for you to show and prove. Time for you to step out of your comfort zone. It's time for you to jump. It's time for you to leap. To put yourself in a position to land softly on your bed of dreams. Stop waiting for things to happen. Go out and make them happen. Stop wishing. Start doing. Stop standing. Start moving. You got a gift to share with this world. You got a dream. But your dream will never become a reality if you keep sleeping. And if you're winning in your game of life, wake up every day like you losing by 20. It's go time. It's show time. It's show time. So give some more time to execution. Give some more time to taking your problem and figuring out a solution. And if you didn't figure out what I'm talking about, in the hood, we take more and we say more. So right about now, I need you to give me a little bit more effort. I need you to give me a little bit more heart. I need you to give me a little bit more passion. No, let me rephrase that. I need you to give you a little bit more effort. I need you to give you a little bit more heart. I need you to give you a little bit more passion. The time is now for you to take action. Oh yeah, you talk a big game, but when the lights come on, and it's really go time, and it's really show time, what is your heart pumping? Is your heart pumping Kool-Aid? Do you stand tall? Are you afraid of the big moment? The lights are bright. The game is on the line. The situation is intense. The crowd is cheering. Are you a man? Are you a woman? Or are you a mouse? Do you show up big time? Or do you hide over in a corner and wait for somebody else to accept the challenge? Right now, I'm challenging you. It's go time. I need you to show up. I need you to show out. It's your time. I need you to go take it. Show this world what you made of. Let your light shine. It's go time. This is a great day to win. They will try to test you, but they fail to realize there's not 1 ounce of give up in your spirit. There's not 1 ounce of give up in your heart. There's not 1 ounce of give up in your soul. There's not 1 ounce of give up in your body. Baker Mayfield said, I woke up dangerous. But most people wake up aimless, with no sense of direction. But not you! You wake up every morning on fire, ready to crush your day, ready to crush excuses, ready to dominate in your lane, ready to execute your goals. You know life is coming. You know life is trying to sucker punch you. You know life wants to break you. You know life wants to beat you down. But instead of frown, you just smile. Because you know there's not 1 ounce to give up in your soul. So you stand tall in the face of it all. Wipe the sweat from your brow. And keep grinding because you will not be broken. You will not be moved. Like that tree that's planted by the water. You will not be moved. So you're just hitting your stride, just getting into the groove. They thought they could break you, but there's not 1 ounce of give up in your body. And therefore, you keep running your race until you emerge victorious. And you understand that there will be moments when you want to throw in the towel. And that's when you tap into your inner greatness and go the extra mile. So every mile marker, you celebrate the small wins. Because you understand that the small wins lead to the big wins. Lead to the gold balls, lead to the trophies, lead to the rings, lead to the riches, lead to the spoils. And you will never, ever, ever allow one mere mortal to foil your plans of achieving next level success. So when it gets hard, you giggle. When it gets tough, you laugh. Because you know the path to victory is paved with obstacles. It's paved with roadblocks. It's paved with uncertainties. But one thing is certain. Your heart doesn't pump Kool-Aid. One thing that is certain. There is not 1 ounce of give up in your soul. There's not 1 ounce of give up in your heart. And so you keep fighting until the very end. This is a great day to win. They told you that you couldn't do it. They laughed in your face. They teased you. They ridiculed you. They had absolutely no confidence in your ability. Absolutely no confidence that you could get your job done. Absolutely no confidence that you could succeed. Now that's what I call fuel. One of the greatest pleasures in life is doing what people say you cannot do. This is just a little fuel for your hustle. Because there will be haters, doubters, non-believers. And then there will be you doing everything that you can to prove them wrong. Doing everything to show them why you can succeed. My bad. Doing everything to show them why you will succeed. Extra work, staying up late, waking up early, doing more than the average person will do on any given day. Just in the back of your head, you hear that voice saying you can't do it. In the back of your head, you hear that voice saying you don't have what it takes. In the back of your head, you hear that voice saying you're not good enough. And that's what gasses me up. That should gas you up. It should make you go hard. No. It should make you go twice as hard. No. It should make you go 3 times as hard. And when you on that last rep, when you on that last set, when you need to make that last call, when you need to spend 1 more hour studying, when you need to do things that your body is saying, I don't feel like doing anymore. Do it anyway. Because they will doubt you. Because they did doubt you. Because they do doubt you. But you never doubted yourself. 1 more rep. 1 more set. 1 more call. 1 more email. 1 more study session. Just read 1 more page. Take 1 more note. Just write 1 more sentence. You got a story to tell. You got a book in you. You got a goal to reach. You got a doubter to prove wrong. You got a hater to prove wrong. You got a you to prove right. Success is making the doubter in them. Success is making the doubter in you believe in you. This is just a little fuel for your hustle. When no one thinks you can, then you have to. The great Michael Phelps said, there will be obstacles, there will be doubters, there will be mistakes, but with hard work, there are no limits. So remove your limited doubts, remove your limited beliefs, remove what they say, block out the noise. It goes in one ear and right out the other when they're talking that yin-yang, when they're talking that hate, when they're talking that negativity, when they're trying to put that negative spirit of losing, that negative spirit of failure on you. Absolutely not. You will not accept their thought process of failure in you. Because there's a champion that's living inside of you. That's been caged up. That's been locked up for so long. And it's begging to be released. It's begging to be unleashed to the world. This is that fuel for your hustle. Because you are 100% capable of massive success. This is a great day to win.
Question. Are you truly doing whatever it takes to reach your goals? Now, I'm going to talk about bodybuilding, but this goes for anything in life. Are you truly doing whatever it takes? Now, whatever it takes, obviously everyone has a different version of what that entails. Now, as far as bodybuilding goes, whatever it takes, I would say, are you eating 8 to 10 meals a day? Are you? The answer probably to 90% of the people out there is no, I'm not eating that much. Okay? Are you training twice a day? Are you working out 3 to 4 hours a day?
90% of the people out there are going to say, no, I'm not working out that much. Are you doing cardio? No, I don't have time to do cardio. 90% of the people will say, now, whatever it takes, when you look and you see the guys on the Olympia stage, it's very easy to say, oh, they're taking steroids, they're taking more drugs than me, that's why they're up on the Olympia. No, motherfucker, they're working harder. Give people credit where credit is due. They are working harder than you. They have been doing it longer than you. They are willing to do whatever it takes. Now, yes, they take steroids, of course they do. But give credit where credit is due. These guys are training like maniacs. They're eating like maniacs. They're on the step mill for an hour a day, some of them 2 hours a day. Have you ever ridden the step mill? Get on that motherfucker and ride it for an hour straight, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It kicks your fucking ass. Eating 8 to 10 times a day is hard. And of course, we can I don't have time to eat that much. You know, I work and this and that. Well, then you're not doing whatever it takes. And you know, it's just if you have a goal in mind and you want to achieve that goal, you have to be willing to do whatever it takes. And if you're not, you're never going to reach that goal. You're going to be the guy sitting on the couch saying, oh, they're taking steroids. That's why. They're taking more steroids than me. The only reason they're better than me is because they're taking more steroids. And that makes you feel better. You feel okay about yourself now because you're saying to yourself that you work just as hard as them. They're only better because they're taking drugs or they're taking more drugs. Guess what? Wrong! Wrong! They're working harder. Admit that shit. Admit that you're not willing to do whatever it takes. You're not willing to do that. You're not going to work out for 3 or 4 hours. You're not going to eat 8 to 10 meals a day. You're not going to get on the step mill, even in the off season, and fucking get on there and fucking go to work for an hour. Now, oh yeah, but the step mill, you know, when you do cardio in the off season, it burns. No, it doesn't burn muscle. That's an excuse so your lazy ass doesn't have to fucking do the step mill. You know what I'm saying? Man up. If you're not willing to do what it takes, at least be willing to fucking admit it. Drives me fucking crazy when people take credit away from people that are truly working their asses off. So, do whatever it takes. Reach your goals. Make your dreams come true in whatever it is in life. And you can always do more. And the biggest fucking fallacy of bodybuilding is this whole thing of you can do too much. Well, if you work out too much, you're overtraining. Oh, if you do, no, bullshit. That's for lazy fucking people to say that shit. Oh, I've been training an hour, I better not train any longer because I'm gonna be overtraining and I'm gonna fucking tear my muscles down. So you leave the gym, no, you fucking work out for 3 or 4 hours. The more you put into anything, the more you get out. And this is supposed to be motivational. I'm not talking shit to people out there, I'm motivating and I'm waking people up to understand that you need to do whatever it takes. If you're working on opening a business, you need to be working on that shit 16 hours a day. You want to make that shit successful? Then you need to be busting your ass. Doing whatever it takes, putting everything into it. Otherwise, your business will fail. 80% of businesses fail. Why? Because people aren't willing to do whatever it takes. If you're willing to do whatever it takes, you will be successful. When it comes to bodybuilding, train 3 or 4 hours a day. Do the step mill a fucking hour in the off season. If you're eating fucking 8,000 or 9,000 calories, you're not gonna burn any muscle. You're turning your body into a fucking machine. Your body is a fucking machine. You're digesting food faster. Your body's fucking growing faster. That's what it is, doing whatever it takes. So if you don't fool yourself and think eating 3,000 calories a day, 5 meals a day, working out an hour a day means that you're a hardcore bodybuilder and you're doing whatever it takes to achieve your goals. When you get that fucking 5th place trophy or you don't make top 5, fucking face reality and realize you're not working hard enough to fucking get that 1st place trophy. A real quick story. The last national show I competed in, I was talking to the winner backstage. And Chris Aceto was doing his fucking diet and his training program, okay? And he said, Rich, I do the step mill an hour a day. I do 5 units of insulin before I get on the step mill on an empty stomach. and I do it for an hour, okay? I do that twice a day. You know what I said to him? I said, you know what? This was before prejudging. I said, you know what? I said, you deserve to win this show. Whether you win or lose, you deserve to win it, because what you put into this fucking show is unbelievable. Because I wasn't doing fucking 2 hours of the fucking step mill a day, and I wasn't fucking taking insulin before I did the step mill. That's fucking suicide. Fucking die. You're dropping your blood sugar and doing fucking cardio? What the fuck? I was not willing to do whatever it takes when it gets to that degree in this sport. So I looked at him and I said, you know what? You deserve to fucking win. And that's when I made my exit the fuck out of bodybuilding, because I realized I'm not willing to do this shit. It's fucking, I'm sorry, but that's too much. So I'm gonna go into something like fucking opening a business, fucking buying things that I can put everything into. You know what? I'm fucking damn happy I made that decision, because I'm making lots of money and I'm successful and I'm fucking happy. Anyway, I hope this helps.
It's the one thing that we all have, the mind, right? But it's the one thing that we don't have a manual for. We buy a blender, we get a manual. Our iPhone comes with a manual. We get a car and it has a manual. Nobody teaches you how to use the mind. There's no manual for the mind. So this, I think, is one of the most essential things in making progress in our life, is really understanding how our mind works. It's the one thing that we have to live with 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We have no choice. Imagine if most of you slept 8 hours a day, which most of you don't. You slept and you were awake 16 hours a day. In the 16 hours you practice your awareness just randomly moving from one thing to another, to another, to another, all day practice being distracted. What would you be good at after 6 months? You did the 16 hours a day, you just allow your awareness to jump from one thing to another to another. I'll tweet right now, I'll switch to text messaging, then I'll go to email, oh, my phone's ringing, so I'll answer the phone, and then somebody's speaking to me, so I'll have 2 conversations at one time. And I'll just do this 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you get it being good at distracted. After 1 year, you're an expert at being distracted. After a year and a half, they'll invite you to give keynote talks on being distracted. You're so good, you practice 16 hours a day. So the same works for the opposite. If you practice being concentrated 16 hours a day, what would you become good at? You become good at concentrating. And all it takes is practice. By just doing one thing at a time. Keeping your awareness on one thing at a time. And you integrate this into everything that you do in your life. So the best way to do it is pick a few opportunities in your everyday life. For example, we all speak with people. When I speak with somebody, I give them my undivided attention. I keep my awareness on them, and the conversation is really brief. Why? Because we're concentrated. We're not being distracted. A 10-minute conversation normally just takes 3 minutes because you're just so focused. I define concentration as the ability to keep that awareness on one thing for a prolonged period of time. So if I can keep my awareness on Eric and not drift away and think about the weddings, or drift away and think about the vacation, or what I'm going to do later, then I'm concentrating on Eric. Every time it drifts away, I bring it back. And the more I practice this, the more I practice concentration. So concentration is the ability to keep your awareness on one thing for a prolonged period of time. And that's a very simple definition of concentration. How do you get better at concentration? You practice this. You practice this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it's the only way to get good at it. And what's the best way to practice it? The best way to practice it is to integrate it into everything that you do in your life. Not to meditate 10 minutes in the morning. It doesn't work. You really need to look at your life the same way a sprinter in the Olympics looks at his life. You've all heard of Usain Bolt, the man that won the gold medal twice, 2 Olympics in a row, broke the world record. I don't know anything about him, to be honest. But if I was looked at him, he obviously sprints, he practices running, probably does a lot of long distance, he probably does a lot of stretching as well, I'm sure he gets massages. He looks like he eats the right kind of food. Drinks the right amount of water, takes vitamins. His whole day is so disciplined. For what? to prepare him for 9.57 seconds. I think that's what the world record is, right? 400 meters, 9.5 or 9.57 seconds. His whole day is preparing him for that short time, not the other way around. A lot of people say, you know what, I need to be more concentrated. So you know what, I'm going to meditate in the morning, I'll sit down for 2 minutes. Okay, now I'm Zen Master. And the remaining 23 hours and 58 minutes, they just go about being ordinary and crazy. How does that work? How would you change? It's not balanced at all. So if for 23 hours and 58 minutes you were not being concentrated, you allowed your awareness to jump from one thing in your mind to another thing, to another thing, to another thing, to another thing, in an uncontrolled way, what would you be good at? And out of a prolonged concentration comes the wonderful power of observation. You just become more observant, and when you become more observant, you see solutions quicker and you solve things quicker. And it's a wonderful, powerful feeling when somebody is concentrated on you and not being distracted. So the best way is to integrate it into your everyday life. You're speaking with your spouse, give her or give him your undivided attention. So develop your awareness, integrate it into everything that you do in your life. And that's the best way you become good at. The next thing we need to develop is develop your will. Will is really important. Will is almost like a muscle in your mind, and you use that to pull and control your awareness and take it from one area of the mind to another. And the will needs to be developed. And same like concentration, if you don't cultivate the will, it doesn't grow. And this is something that really needs to be cultivated. How do you develop the will? There are 3 very simple ways to develop the will. 1 is you finish what you begin. 2 is you finish it well beyond your expectation, no matter how long it takes. 3 is you do a little bit more than you think you can do. All of those things require effort, and effort is will. It's so much easier to start a project than to finish a project, right? When you start a project, you're feeling creative, you're feeling inspired, you're full of energy. At the end of the project, you go, whose idea was this? So it requires tremendous amount of will to finish. And every time you complete something, you develop a little bit more will, and you have that muscle. And will is an amazing thing to develop, because once you develop will, that same will you can use in every aspect of your life to keep your awareness on one thing at a time, to finish projects, to see things through to the end, anything you want. The best way to develop will, bring it into your everyday life, into everything that you do. Give you an example, the way I integrate it into my everyday life, I try and finish what I begin. So for example, going to sleep. I sleep every night, so I put on my pajamas, I floss, I brush my teeth, I go to bed, I sleep, I wake up in the morning, I make the bed. Why? Because I'm finishing what I start.
No thing in your life just happen. There are some things that you learn in the process, in the painful grappling of climbing up to a place rather than being zapped to a place. The things that you went through getting there give you the tenacity to stay there. The fight is your friend. My life was shaped in part through tragedies. And the weird thing about tragedies is that they don't tell you that they're shaping you. Intellect can describe it, but only instinct can find it. People always remember and talk about how you made it, and you're king, or you're the president, or you're the pope, or whoever you are, but they don't understand what all you went through to get there. By the time I figured out what life was all about, it was time to go. I've been sick before. I made it.
I've been broke before. I made it. I've been broken-hearted before. I made it. I cried all night, but I made it. I've been betrayed, but I made it. I've been lied on, but I made it. I've been destitute, but I made it. I've been rejected, but I made it. Sometimes when you're imagining how things are gonna go, they don't go the way you imagined. And if you're a weak person, you will quit because it didn't go the way you imagined it.